Dr. Clendenning, here we are again, back on Total Disruption. How are you this fine day?
I am well, the Michael Libercci. How you doing today, man?
Tip top, baby. I feel so good. The sun's out. It's summertime. At the time of this recording, it is just epic. Running around, getting ready to travel a bunch. But, when you look at the horizon and you look at your calendar and you know it's coming, you've laid out the money, you've made the arrangements, you've gotten the thises and the that's, you know it's time. And it's unbelievable. I don't know about you. Maybe it's just because, but when a future event, like let's say you start in October, thinking about something in July, it starts to come up because you've got to get a house and you've got to go do a thing and you've got to get a car, make a plane ride, or make a schedule change. When it finally gets there, even though you've had all this time to plan, I still kind of get nervous. It's weird. I'm like a little kid. I get super nervous. And I don't even know if it's excitement or maybe I'm not ready. I don't know. It's almost like I feel like I need a new way to think about future events. And I need to like do something every day mentally for those events leading up to the event. I don't know. I need a new system, dude. I don't know. Like what I've only been like I'm going to South Carolina. Can I tell you something? I've only been there. I went from going there never in my life, and in the last 5 years, in the last 3 years, I've been there 10 times.
hmm
So this ain't nothing new for Mike. I don't know what the hell I'm nervous about. So, it's ridiculous, dude.
I
It,
don't think it's nerves, man. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's the anticipation. I think it's the we're anxious and excited about it. I mean, it's no different than when I'm getting ready to go on a trip for me, right? I mean, I have been on
you're not supposed to be on a trip. What are you doing?
literally hundreds of hunting trips. Literally hundreds of them. I've spent a career doing it. I still get it. Right? And if I don't get that, I ought to quit. I should just be done with it because if I'm not feeling that little bit of push, that little bit of excitement, the joy that's in there, I
Uh huh.
shouldn't be doing it. But that's all it is for you, man. It's just that you're excited about spending the time, you're excited about going and doing the thing. It's not that it's a nervous piece of you. I don't know, or I don't, it's not a I don't know what to expect. It's a your body and brain are just reacting to they're ready to go. Like they're
Yeah.
excited about doing the thing.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm doing the drive. Right. We're driving, and from where I live, it's like a 9 hour spiel, and I've done that whole drive solo, and I have pushed through. It was just me and one of my kids once, and I'll never forget it. I had to rent a car because this dude. Check this out, man. I'm thinking I'm being proactive, right? I take my car to this guy. I get an oil change, and he doesn't put in a metal piece inside of a filter. Doesn't put it back in. Okay. As I'm driving, I get all the way past I get an hour outside of Myrtle Beach. I was going to Myrtle Beach at the time. I get an hour outside of Myrtle Beach, just hammered at night in rain, all this bullshit. The oil filter collapses on itself. I don't know this, right? Long story short, I take it to a dealership. Dealership says, "Hey, listen, this is what happened. We can't warranty it. Partial warranty." I'm like, son of a bitch, really? Call the guy. He's like, "Oh, it was in there." It was a he said, she said moment. It was a big learning curve for me not to take it to uh, certified mechanic, but a certified mechanic that was operating, let's say, out of his house. But his house was a full mechanic shop. Cars
hmm
out the door, big reputation. Needless to say, I was in a rental car on the way back. And let me tell you something, Jake. When you get like a little chimpy car, and you're nothing about anybody's got these little chimpy cars, dude. At the speed I drive, that thing was like rocking like a boat on the high seas, man. But maybe it's the PTSD that's making me nervous. I don't know. But I've done it a million times. I'm preparing myself mentally for the drive. I've walked myself through every piece of this puzzle, down to the checking in, the first day of the tournament pre-show, game one, game two. I've done it all. Crazy. I am still bloody nervous. And by the way, you took trips. I thought you basically just stayed home and made this whole thing work better for me. I don't know.
I know it's all about you, man. It's cool. So the interesting part, this brings up a little bit of NLP stuff, is you are mentally preparing for a future that may or may not happen. You're trying to prepare for every outcome. So this is one of those, yes, there's a mental agility test. There's two schools of thought here. And there's a billion books out there about each direction that you could possibly go. One is to prepare for every possible outcome so that regardless of the outcome, you're not surprised, you're prepared for it, you can move through it with grace, right? That is one way to do it. The other way is the concept of being totally present in the moment, which is incredibly difficult, by the way, for most people, Mike and I included. We are the same way. And it's all about, well, all I have to do for planning the trip is I just have to know I'm going. That's the extent of it. Whatever happens is going to happen, and I'm going to deal with it in the moment of what that's going to be. And it is incredibly challenging to do. There's two ways to do it. Now, there's a boy, it's been a long time since I brought this one up. There's an old cult movie, Will Smith did it, called After Earth, to where he talks about fear. And it is whoever wrote this particular line, wrote this particular segment where he's talking about what fear is. Genius. Look it up on YouTube. It was a brilliant piece. And it was, pain is real. Pain is real. Danger is real. Fear is made up. Fear is fake. Fear is you thinking about a future that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
And it's such a unique perspective to think about. And there's a ton of NLP in this one. And yes, there's within our app that we built, we actually built this into our AI model about hey, I've got to have a conversation with this person. This is what the conversation, the topic is going to be. This is the result that I want it to be. This is the trigger points, and it'll help you walk through that entire conversation. Now, it's contradictive to what I'm talking about right now because it gives you the ability to practice every conceivable scenario rolling into that so you are prepared for it and just can be as professional as possible. So it's
Yes,
an interesting concept.
that does sound like the CRG method app.
It kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is. So yeah, go check it out. Go check it out on the website www.total-disruption.com. You can check out the app there. Take the leadership archetype quiz. Share it with your friends. It's an awesome thing to do. Check it out on social media and share it. Go find it. Go check out the app. You can get I think you get one free demo out of it when you do the leadership archetype test. So you can actually go through there and demo the app. Check it out. See where your gaps are and see how it'll help you fill them.
So the cool thing about using an app like what we developed is you don't need anybody. You can do it at your own speed. You could sort of prepare in private, kind of like taking reps where no one's looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or chiseling up your body in your basement and then going to the beach and around your friends and like, damn, you look good. That's the best part of using apps. But the best part is taking action, doing it. First step, take the quiz. Second step, follow the prompts in the app, right? Give yourself a minute. Don't just take the quiz and then not do the app piece, right? Just get it done for
Yeah,
yourself.
take the time. I got asked the other day, a little bit of a sidebar on this. I got asked the other day why I would create an app that basically, to some degree, replaces me, right? That replaces me as because it's us on paper. Of you have access to us 24 hours a day to be able to go in there. And here's the reason why: because you wouldn't have access to us 24 hours a day, but on the app you do. If you need to go in there and get some quick coaching on some language work, you can absolutely do it at will. Anytime you want to do it, you can pull up your phone and do that. Whereas if you're trying to get a hold of a coach or you're trying to get a hold of us and you have a question or a thing that needs to be worked on, you can't always do that in the moment. But with an app, you can. So it's not a matter of that we built something to replace ourselves. We built something to actually make us go further, right? This stretches out our capacity to be able to create impact because now people can access the methodology 24/7 whenever they want to.
but you can also be stubborn. Like, let's say you're stupid, right? Let's just say, like, in some cases, when I'm learning something new, I'm dumb. I need to ask the same effing question. Like, you know how sometimes you have mental loops in your head, right? And I need to just I love it. I go to the ChatGPT sometimes 10 times in an hour. That's how obsessive I am about information. Because in my head I'm reading, writing, asking, reading, learning, asking, reading, learning, asking. And I don't give a shit who I'm bothering. I need the answers. This is the way I learn. I have a blatant disregard for everybody else's needs. All I care about is myself because I want to know this information. I want to absorb it. I want to move on, right? When I'm going to give a free plug to my buddy Joel Green. He has this GPT that he has programmed, and he's a diet, nutrition, longevity guy. You go to Joel GPT, I ask that damn thing all these kinds of questions. It's a chat GPT bot that you can search out. It's free. You can go use it. I'm sure he's probably charging for something by now. But ours is the same way in these conversations. You can just keep rolling that scenario over and over and over again, beating yourself till you're blue in the face, learning, and then going out and doing. No matter what, though, you're not really going to learn until you actually go out and do. So the app will warm you up, but you won't know until you're in the heat of the moment. It's just like anything else. You can play video games on bow hunting all you want. You can play video games on skeet shooting all you want. Then all of a sudden, I go to Jake's house and I challenge Jake to a bow accuracy contest. And now I'm not in the video game anymore. I'm the guy that shoots a bow every single day. He's got adrenaline. I have adrenaline. That's the difference. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that is ever going to replace game adrenaline. So let me tell you something, folks. I don't care where you get the information from. Doing is the best thing. Failing forward is the best thing. The second best thing is apps and chats and what we've designed, because that is your reps. Now,
It's your practice platform, yeah.
Enough of my tirade about doing.
No, it's not a tirade because it's absolutely true. There's a great book called Fierce Conversations that's been around a long time, and it's about the art of negotiation. And there's a part in the book that talks about, and there's some FBI knowledge that goes into this, and it says you are only 25% as good under pressure in an adrenaline situation as you are in practice. 25%. Like this, yeah, that I feel like that might be low, but I like the math of where it's going.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second, right? If you're only 25% as good in a game or high stakes situation as you are in practice, what if you never practiced? If you didn't practice at all, how good are you? You suck. That's exactly where it's going to go.
Or conversations.
Fierce Conversations is the name of the book. Yeah, solid book. And we heard, like, those that remember Michael Jordan, we come from an era that does that. Now everybody's thinking Kobe Bryant and everybody's thinking a couple other people. But Michael Jordan, one of the greatest to ever play the game, was absolutely repeatedly quoted as, and he said all the time, I have never played a game as hard as I practice. I have never played a game as hard as I practice. And that in of itself is such a profound statement. And it's true. It's true in everything. It's true in your business. If you're practicing just on clients, that's going to show through. Like you're practicing during a game. You're not showing up and doing your reps ahead of time. Yeah. And that's what this one is. And Mike and I were talking earlier about, ignorance is bliss. And that's an assumption of, and I used to think this was true too, of I am good off the cuff, right? I am good off the cuff. I am pretty dang good in conversations off the cuff. And I believe that I would do plenty well. Well, guess what? I'm good, but I wasn't great.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't great in that moment. And that was one of my business partners at the time had told me that, Jake, why are you willing to settle for good when great is on the table? Right. Like literally it's sitting right next to it. You can have plain old salt, or you can have the Kinder's blend. I don't get sponsored by Kinder's, but I love that stuff. I put it on everything. Really? What are you going to choose? You're either going to grab the plain old salt that you get in a little white container, off the table. That's good, or you can choose great, which is going to be whatever flavor is your greatest thing that's out there. Like, it's the same thing. It's such a great concept, but it's all the difference is it's reps, it's practice. You just don't show up to Mike and I've talked about this before. If his kids did not practice and work all week and all season and all year, I mean, I'm just saying all week, if they didn't work every single day, they wouldn't be allowed to play on Friday night. They wouldn't be able to play at the game. They'd be riding the bench, plain and simple. And that's how it should be. Same is true in
Yeah.
business. If you're not
And
practicing, then you're just sitting there ignorant, and you're blissfully ignorant in it.
well, and you can't possibly, no one, I mean, unless you're gifted, but you can't make on the fly adjustments. And I'll tell you another story. Again, I'm gonna get gritty here with it. So the second summer hit, my kids started training 5 days a week during the week, playing on the weekends. And again, it's very organized. This isn't some sort of slipshod thing. Like, this is professional stuff, meaning professional thought process, professional execution, professional scheduling. And they're still, I still take them for supplemental lessons and skills, different skills. And, you know, they're doing arm care. This is baseball. They're doing arm care and they're working out. I got into a conversation with somebody. Man, why are you doing that in season? So hold time out. Number one, my goal is March 10th of 2027. I've got junior varsity and freshman team tryouts. So that's the season. Number two, they're not playing baseball 5 days a week. They're practicing. There's a difference. They're not having even organized practices 5 days a week. And then number three, unless you're doing something regularly, you can't come along and get a great idea and implement that quick enough unless you're doing something regular. And there's the secret. If you're doing regular reps and like a Dr. Clendenning comes along, gives you a brilliant idea about how to manage your life better, optimize the schedule, have a different thought process, there is no way that you are going to integrate that information unless you are practicing, learning, and doing every single day. Would you agree?
I 100% agree with that.
That's
Absolutely. Not
it.
not just because it would be the advice I would give you, but that is literally that's the key, man. That's the secret sauce. We keep saying it, and we say it all the time about making sure you're prepared, making sure you're practiced in what you're doing. Not, there's one of the things I tell all my executives to do is we block out a spot in the calendar for strategic planning, not just what am I doing today, right? We have a blocked spot somewhere in the calendar that is shut the doors, turn off the phones, do not answer emails, don't touch the stuff. And it's the visualization of, and just putting yourself in the emotional state of 5 years from now, where am I? So what do I have to be doing today in order to make sure I hit that space? There's a great quote that I heard some years ago. You can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years. You can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years. Now, here's the part that'll cook your noodle. Is 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I want everybody to think back for a minute. 5 years ago, you were somewhere doing something. You made a decision 5 years ago, to the day, to the minute, that put you exactly where you are today. You did. Five
How about
years ago,
every
you
decision
made it.
you've ever made? How about every decision you've ever made in your whole life put you right
Right.
here, right now?
And that's exactly it. So there's a decision you're going to make today, something you're going to do today that's going to be a catalyst, that's going to be the butterfly effect. Pick your movie. I'm throwing all kinds of them at you. That's going to have an impact and is going to put you in a chair, in an opportunity, in a space in 5 years. Right, wrong, indifferent, good or bad. You're making a call right now on what you're doing 5 years from now. Be aware of that, and it's absolutely true. And I mean, you can track it, and it's a little disturbing when you do the timeline work, and you go back and you track it, and you can see, oh, okay, so the crash and burn of this thing, this is where it started, this is where it occurred, and I can go back and I can look at that. It wasn't the decision I made on this day that made this work. It was actually this one. And we talked about this in a previous episode about your decision making process of making bad decisions when you're exhausted and just in the wrong headspace, and having the maturity to say, no, I'm not going to make that decision today. That's still a decision, right? The decision to do nothing is a decision. It is an active gin. So like be really, really clear on that is you're going to say, I'm not saying no to it. I'm saying I'm not going to make the decision on that today because I don't have the capacity to make that decision today. You put it on the table, you put it in a box, you put it wherever you're going to put it so that you can come back to it and say, all right, I am now at full capacity. I can operate that decision and make an
Well,
accurate one based on is it for my bigger purpose.
I have something better to add to that. Like, and if every decision in the last 5 years led you to be listening to Total Disruption, you better thank God you're doing something right. Don't you agree, Dave? You know what I mean? Come on now. Let's go,
Yep.
right? Let's go, people.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah,
So,
that's exactly it. 5 years ago, you decided something that put you on a personal development and growth campaign that brought you to this show, that brought you to this podcast. There is something today you need to hear and you need to execute on. That's it.
let me give some solid personal advice, right? So there's a couple things that I've learned along the way that I'd like to share. So when you're on the pursuit of mastery and you're on the pursuit of excellence and you're on the pursuit of development and you're on the pursuit of this mythical journey you're on and the construct, a lot of things are like a lock and a tumbler mechanism where you learn a little bit, the key goes a little further in, click. You learn a little bit more, the key goes a little further in, click, 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 and then you can open that door. So it all depends on how bad you want it. And yeah, okay, you could jam the key in, break the door open. That's got consequences too. But when you're learning things, everything you don't know where. Like today, I didn't know, or the other day, I didn't know when I was in the back of an Uber when the guy said, "Hey, man, it was all right. It's cool." All of a sudden, the perspective of that forward-leaning pressure momentum that I was behind the clock shifted. I was just trying to be courteous to another human being that I was running my mouth in the back of their car for an hour, totally ignoring them, totally, I realized they're in a service mode at that time, and I'm supposed to be a customer, and they're supposed to be a service provider. But I don't want to be big time in the back seat, running my mouth the entire time. Maybe I got to make a phone call or something. It's just a car ride to me, right? But you don't know the final tumbler and that lock that's going to just smoothly open those doors that have been you've been locked behind for so long. And that's the cool thing about shows like this. When you cover a lot of things, using our app, taking action. I like to call this passive peripheral action. Passive meaning you can have this on in the background. You could take a few minutes, insert, then relieve. You can use the app for a few minutes or dive in for a few hours. Those are the kinds of things that you don't see in that crooked line to success that you fit in, that you maximize, that you are trying to do every ounce of everything you can in that pursuit of mastery. And that's kind of some things I've learned. I sometimes I'm uncomfortable. I'll be honest with you. Like sometimes I'm uncomfortable if I'm in a strange environment doing familiar business things. I don't know why. If I take a business call, sometimes I want to be at my house or my office. I don't want to be in a hotel somewhere away. Other days, I'm like, hey, my business exists between my ears, behind my eyes, and I can be anywhere doing anything. Isn't that weird? Don't you find that a little strange? Some days it's like, yes, no,
No, it's
yes,
a muscle memory thing. It's a muscle memory thing. Your brain is just craving familiarity
but
in
it's
that, and it's
but it's
yeah.
ever limiting. It's ever
No,
limiting.
it's
Like,
never limiting. You're still going to do the thing. You have to decide what it is. Now you're going to show up in a different state. It's a different emotional state when you're doing that. You can't not. It's impossible. Like plain and simple, you're not going to be as open and aligned and ready to go on that call as you would have been if you'd have been in a more familiar space. Sometimes that's going to occur, right? But
so,
are you still going to show up the best that you can in the moment with what you have?
so
Absolutely.
let me think about this. So maybe we're on to something here. It's a shame we're out of time. Like, we got to earmark this for our next episode. I want to go over at one point, switching gears then. If I handed Eddie Vedder a mic, and then granted, it's Eddie Vedder, right? But and I asked Eddie to sing a cappella. All he would have to do is summon the Eddie Vedder guy out of his inner person, and all of a sudden, there's Eddie Vedder, not Ed Vedder, the human being, right? There's the superstar. We got to figure that out. How to truncate that gap and close the doors. All right, man, we're running out of time. Do you have anything to add right before we part ways here with our audience?
Nope. Just understand if you are. We did a little bit of it today. What Mike's talking about. We did a little bit of a state change because he was pretty anxious about something. We changed the subject altogether. We talked about a bunch of other stuff and brought him back to a certain level. So that's kind of the play on if you're feeling really anxious about something, you got to roll hard on it. Change the subject. Change the tone. Change something because what you focus on expands.
Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. My name is Michael Libercci for Dr. J. Clendenning. You were just live on Total Disruption. We'll see you next time.